akong natawhan ning kinabuhi ko akong itugyan ning kasing-kasing ko permi lang kasubo tungod sa gobyerno adili pa ato kinsa pa kaha
Ining maong awit nagsugiro sa pakigbisog alang sa kagawasan sa atong mga Cebuanong revolusyonaryo. Ang sudlon ang ilang tinago nga kampo patok sa mga sumasakop nga katsila o Amerikano. Naginaot ko nga ang atong mga batan karon maminaw nini para ilang mangguhan nga ang ilang problema dili lang ilaha kundi shared na problem kini. Diin ang hinahanglan og shared nga kasularan alang sa kayuhan sa katilingbanong Pilipino.
ngadto sa sudlon dili kita muunem yan ang taong malupikon na maoy nagpaligya sa atong nasyon.
Oh, Pilipinas, yuta kong natawhan ning kinabuhi ko akong itugyan ning kasing-kasing ko permi lang kasubo tungod sa gobyerno nga dili pa ato
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting everyone to please rise for the opening prayer and please remain standing for the singing of our Philippine national anthem. And that's going to be led by our Conquera Street Children's Choir. All together, everyone. Pag-ampo alang sa nabag-ong sugbo. O magbubuhat, nag-ampo kami kanimo alang sa usa ka sugbong hingpit nga nabag-o. Ang sugbo nga sa mga bayani gidamgo. Usa ka sugbo nga atong ikapasigarbo. Kami nagaampo alang sa bag-ong sugbo. Sugbo anong maalamon sa among mga kaagi. Nahiusang nagpanday pagkabot sa damgo. Sa sugbong maisog, mauswagon o gawasnon. Among mga pangandoy para sa matag bata, may pagkaon sa lamesa ug balay makatulgan. May bisting makahupay sa gabii nga matugnaw, giatiman, gipangga sa tibuok katilingban. Kami nagaampo alang sa bag-ong sugbo, sugboanong dakog garbo sa among mga kaagi. Nahiusang nagpanday pagkabot sa damko. Sa sugbong maisog, mauswagon, og gawasnon. Sa ngalan sa Amahan, sa Anak, o sa Espiritu Santo. Amen.
We Cebuanos aspire to be worthy in following the path taken by our heroes in their fearless fight for a land whose sun and stars forever shine for justice, whose loving embrace is everyone's paradise. We strive to become a people who love our motherland in our every breath and with every drop of our blood, sweat, and tears.
Thank you very much, Conquera Street Children's Choir. You may now all please be seated. Maayong hapon kanatong tanan. Of course, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Palm Grass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, welcomes everyone to Pasko sa Kagawasan, celebrating 127 years of Visayas victory versus Spain. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is 𝗲𝗏𝗲𝗂𝗲𝗓, your Bisaya and friendly host, and I'm going to be the moderator for this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conversations on the Katipunan Movement in Cebu. To recall, on December 24, 1898, the Cebu Katipuneros raised the Philippine flag at Fort San Pedro, while the Spaniards left Cebu on their gunboats. A few days later, on December 29, 1898, a Thanksgiving Mass for the victory of the Cebu Revolution was celebrated at the Cebu Cathedral. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to recognize our partners. So, of course, first we have the 𝗃𝗏𝗃 Foundation Incorporated. A big round of applause, please. Another partner we have is the 𝗵𝗲𝗍𝗪 Heritage Center. A big round of applause, please. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, the Central Visayas Association of Museums. A big round of applause, please. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to recognize as well our participants. And most of them are actually live as our viewers this afternoon in our official Facebook page, PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So whenever I get to recognize your names, please comment down, make a noise in our comment section down below. Of course, first we have the University of Cebu, Maine, United Social Studies Students Organization, CTE. A big round of applause, please. We also have Kapitan Eddie T. Reyes Integrated School. A big round of applause, please. Good afternoon as well to SDO Cappies. A big round of applause, please. Of course, we also have a school from Talisay. We have Talisay City College. And we also have Colegio de San Antonio de Padua. A big round of applause, please. Oceanwide Maritime Services Corporation. A big round of applause, please. Of course, Schools Division of Taguig City and Pateros. Welcome to our celebration. And of course, we have got Andres Bonifacio Elementary School. A big round of applause, please. And we also have our attendees that are present here this afternoon. Please make a noise and, give a big round of applause to, of course, our representatives from Barangay Camagayan, Barangay Santa Cruz, Barangay San Antonio, Barangay Cogon Ramos, and Barangay Kalubihan. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, to all other viewers, avid viewers of our official Facebook page, that's PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. And if this is the first time you get to meet our page, please to hit the subscribe and follow button. And of course, please leave a comment down below and say Pasko sa Kagawasan for this afternoon's event. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have celebrations to celebrate this month. Of course, we have December 30, that's going to be tomorrow, and that is the National Rizal Day. All right, yeah, Rizal Day, Dr. Jose Rizal Day. That's going to be tomorrow, and of course, we're also going to celebrate. Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited for the new year? Diba? Sure. Oh, yes, diba? No, madungagan ang atoang mga edad, buuswag ang atoang mga edad. But aside from that, of course, that's going to be a new beginning, the best year to restart or do better the next year. All right? And of course, for today's event, this celebration, we actually have 3 highlights this afternoon. So are you guys excited? First, through with that is we heard the performance of our national anthem that's given by our Junquera Street Children's Choir. They have more for us this afternoon. And of course, we also have our performance. It's coming from Bagong Teatro Junquera. A big round of applause, please. And we are also going to hear and be able to know some of our Katipunero descendants. A big round of applause, please. Allow me as well to inform everybody about our upcoming events. We will be having our Tagbo 2026, and that's going to happen on December 31, all right? New Year's Eve, all right? New Year 2026 countdown. So save up your calendars, yes, and have the celebration together with PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Our activities for that, we will be having a live music and a New Year's Eve dinner buffet. That's only at PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. And of course, next to that, after the new year is already January. What are we looking forward sa January? Unsa gyud siya? Yes! Syagit og kusog. That is going to be our Sinulog 2026. On January 15th, we will be having a conversations that will be entitled Pit Senyor Sinulog in Cebu in the early 1900s and a pre-colonial Sinulog dance by 𝗣𝗂𝗾𝗂𝗲𝗂𝗂𝗃. Oh, we have a lot to expect for 𝗣𝗂𝗾𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗃. A big round of applause for them. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful to be graced by a representative that's coming from the Cebu province Cebu province and the representative of Governor 𝗵𝗂𝗃. So ladies and gentlemen, to hear an inspirational message from the office of Cebu Province Governor 𝗵, we have Attorney Edmund Lau. A big round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, maayong hapon sa tanan who are here at 𝗵𝗃 and those viewing this event on social media. I will read the message of the Honorable Pamela Baricuatro, who is presently abroad for her much-needed rest. I will read the statement. Good afternoon to everyone gathered here for Pasko sa Kagawasan. While I am not with you personally today, allow me to convey my warmest greetings and deep appreciation for this meaningful commemoration of Cebu's victory, struggle, courage, and enduring love for freedom. As we remember the bravery of our Katipuneros and the defining moments of December 1898, we are reminded that the freedoms we enjoy today were won through unity, sacrifice, and unwavering belief in the Cebuano spirit. These values continue to guide us as we build a province rooted in identity, dignity, and shared responsibility. I thank 𝗵𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, and all our historians, artists, and cultural advocates for keeping our history alive, not just in memory, but in action. May this celebration inspire us to honor the past by serving the present and protecting the future of Cebu. Daghang salamat and a meaningful Pasko sa Kagawasan to everyone.
Yes, daghang salamat, Attorney Edmund Lau from the office of the Cebu Province Governor 𝗵 Baricuatro. Daghang salamat once again, Attorney Edmund Lau. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to start with our celebration this afternoon, we are going to see and we are going to feel and remember on how the victory of Cebu happened years, decades, centuries ago. So that is going to be our 𝗣𝗂𝗾𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗃. A big round of applause, please.
Sa panagsangka sa 3 de Abril 1898, nakadaog ang mga Katipunero batok sa mga Kastila. Apan, nangayo ang mga Katsila og tabang gikan ubang isla sa Pilipinas. Tungod niini, napugos si Leon Kilat ug ang iyang mga kauban nga mudagan padulong sa Karkar ug sa bukirang mga dapit sa Subo. Sa kadlawon sa Abril 8, 1898, samtang natulog si Leon Kilat, gitabangan siya og dunggab sa 8 ka tawo hantod namatay. Gipasigarbo sa mga katsila nga napildi ang leader sa revolusyon.
Tangtanga ang kaguol siyong mga naong kung naa si Leon Kilat karon sa wayon gyud kamo niya kitang tanan nanumpa nga mobarog hangtod sa kamatayon alang sa atong nasod. Si Leon Kilat naguna lamang o kita musunod unya siyang lakang. Apan kun tugutan nato nga mapapas ang atong kaisog tungod sa iyang kamatayon, magpadayon ra ang kagutom o kasalbahi sa mga katsila. Unsa man, ipadayon ba natong nasugdan ni Leon Kilat? Padayon ta para kang Leon Kilat, alang sa Cebu ug alang sa Pilipinas. Mga kauban, ipadayon ba nato? Padayon, General. Dili kita muundang hangtod mapalayas nato ang mga katsila sa Cebu ug sa Pilipinas. Mabuhi si Leon Kilat.
Mabuhi!
Mabuhi ang Pilipinas.
Mabuhi! Sa pagpanguna nilang General Luis Flores o General Arcadio Maxilum, nakuha sa mga Sugbuanong revolusyonaryo ang tanang lungsod sa palibot sa dakbayan sa Sugbo. Hingpit nga napildi ang mga katsila.
Niadtong Disyembre 20, Padayon, mga kauban. Mabuhi ang Pilipinas.
Mabuhi!
Niadtong Disyembre 24, 1898. Nangandam ang tanan sundalong katsila, mga sibilyan ug mga Cebuanong nidapig kanila. Sa wala pay udto, nilarga ang barko padulong sa Zamboanga.
Mabuhi ang Katipunan! Mabuhi ang Pilipinas!
Pasalamatan nato ang mga Cebuanong katapunero tungod sa ilang kaisug ug sakripisyo. Ang ilang ngalan gimarkahan sa atong mga dalan na pamatud-an nila nga pinaagi sa panagiusa, kaisug ug sakripisyo. Makapot nato ang kausaban sa atong kinabuhi ug katilingban. Sa ulugon nato ang 127 ka tuig nga kadaugan sa revolusyon sa Sugbo batok sa Espanya.
Mabuhi ang Pilipinas!
Daghang salamat sa bagong teatro Hongkera. Diba? Amazing! Padayon Katipunan, mabuhi si Leon Kilat, mabuhi ang Pilipinas. Alright? A big round of applause to bagong teatro Hongkera. And of course, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be hearing now a message from our producer of Bagong Teatro Hongkera, and that is none other than our producer of our Pasko sa Kagawasan. Of course, that is none other than our song lyricist and producer of Pasko sa Kagawasan, Ms. 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗄𝗄𝗏. A big round of applause, please. Afternoon.
Malipayong Pasko sa Kagawasan and congratulations to the Bagong Teatro Hongkera for the amazing performance. Final rehearsal today. To the representative of Cebu Governor 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗄𝗏, Attorney Edmund Lau, who came very early today. Daghang salamat for joining us. To the Cebu City Cultural and Historical Affairs Commission, to our rebranding Hongkera partners, the University of San Carlos, University of the Visayas, University of San Jose Recoletos, and the barangays along Hongkera Street, Barangays Kalubihan, Camagayan, San Antonio, Santa Cruz, and Cogon Ramos, to the Hongkera Street Children's Choir, whom you heard them sing a while ago with a beautiful rendition of the Lupang Hinirang, and also to the Bagong Teatro Hongkera, to the descendants of our Katipuneros in Cebu, to our esteemed resource person who is with us for the first time at PAMGRAS, Dr. Delphine Cabanyero, to all advocates of history and heritage, La Liga reenactor, Ferdinand Ascaraga, and also to everyone gathered here today on-site and online, malipayong Pasko sa Kagawasan sa tanan. A warm greeting of the Christmas of freedom to everyone. Today we gather not only to celebrate the holiday season, but to honor a momentous chapter in our history. 127 years ago, on this day, on the same day today, Cebuanos celebrated the first Christmas of freedom with a Thanksgiving Mass at the Cebu Cathedral, marking the end of Spanish colonial rule. It was a moment of hope and triumph, a legacy that continues to inspire us today. We also recall that our pre-colonial Visayan ancestors sang epic chants to honor the victories of their warriors, heroes, and deities. So today, as we show you the Pasko sa Kagawasan song of the Hla's Children's Choir, we continue this musical heritage. Just as our ancestors sang to preserve our identity, we sing today. The children of 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Street will sing today to celebrate the victories of our heroes. In celebration of the 127th anniversary of the victory of the 1898 Cebu Revolution, we are delighted to share a heartfelt song and video, lovingly created by the children and youth of Cebu, and this is their Christmas gift for all of us. Pasko sa Kagawasan by the 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir. Christmas is a season celebrating the birth of a holy child. Truly, Christmas is for children. What better way to honor our past than through the voices of the children and the youth of 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Street? Through this music video, they breathe life into our history, proving that their voices matter. They are not just performers, they are symbols of hope and the enduring spirit of our community. This project is a proud part of the Rebranding 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Partnership, a collaboration launched in 2018. Initiated by the University of San Jose Recoletos, this movement empowers our youth and children to use their talents to retell the story of Cebu's heroes. We extend our deepest gratitude to our performers and the creative team, to the lyricist nga ako, Agripina, the composer, the music composer, 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗏 Fuentes, arranger, Al Gabutan. Our thanks to 𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗏 Studio and the PAMGRAS team and our dedicated music video production crew led by Mavi Avila and Des Suarez. We also honor our voice coaches, especially the late May Rosales, and all the mentors who have guided these children. A special thank you also goes to an avid supporter of our choir, the Human Dignity Initiative, led by New Zealand-based Dr. Peter Hisley. Dr. Hisley shared that the children's interpretation of the Lupang Hinirang moved them to tears. And we thank them for their kindness and the meal shared with the children. So Dr. Maury Hisley especially came here to Cebu City just to see and watch the 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir sing in person. And he has also been giving meals for them, and he scheduled for a party for the children by it's supposedly this month, but it will be in early January. So we hope that the other children of 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Street will also join this gathering. Christmas is indeed a season of hope. Our celebration today remind us of the sacrifices of those who came before us and inspire us to build a future where all children can dream, thrive, and live with dignity. Let us carry the spirit of freedom, love, and hope, not just today, but throughout the season and beyond. Together, we celebrate the victories of the past and embrace the bright promise of tomorrow. We dream of a Christmas where truly all children, and not just a few, would be able to live a decent life. Daghang salamat ug malipayong pagsaulog sa Pasko sa Kagawasan.
Yes, daghang salamat, Miss Agripina Guevalondo. Thank you so much, Ma'am A, for being a champion of the Cebuano heritage. You know, and for amplifying ang pagkasugboan. And a big round of applause once again to Miss Agripina Guevalondo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, eyes on the screens, on your screens, because we will be watching the video screening of Pasko sa Kagawasan. Roll VTR.
Sa pag-iwalayo na si, sa
Yes, a big round of applause. That was actually our 𝗗𝗏𝗃 Children's Choir on screen during the video screening. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hear them live today because they are going to perform for us Pasko sa Kagawasan. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our 𝗗𝗏𝗃 Children's Choir singing Pasko sa Kagawasan. We will get to hear the voices of hope, the innocent voices, but soulful, hope for a better tomorrow. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our 𝗗𝗏𝗃 Children's Choir. A big round of applause, please.
Karuna ang panahon sa paglipay o paglasik, isa Pasko sa Jesus.
Yes, daghang salamat. Wait. Daghang salamat sa ato ang 𝗗𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗃 Street Children's Choir and maayong Pasko sa Kagawasan, ladies and gentlemen. Can we please at least know their names? First name, you are?
Naomi,
Hi, Naomi. This is Naomi. You are?
Juliana,
Juliana. You are?
Audrey,
Audrey. You are?
Raizan,
Raizan. Mark. And?
Kimwell.
And they are the 𝗗𝗃 Street Children's Choir. A big round of applause, please. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. These kids are so cute. And, ladies and gentlemen, way before I get to remember, naroon din sila sa, taga 𝗗𝗃 man sila because they live in 𝗗𝗃 Street, somewhere along the street of 𝗗𝗃. And then right now, you see, diba, we can get to see hope from their eyes, from their voices, and their performance. So thank you very much, 𝗗𝗃 Street Children's Choir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to our highlight of the day, which is the conversations on our Pasko sa Kagawasan. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our moderator for today, and that is, of course, our heritage advocate, Ms. Agripina Guivalondo. A big round of applause, please.
Malipayong Pasko sa Kagawasan sa tanan once again. Congratulations to the 𝗗𝗃 Street Children's Choir. So we hope that more children, actually the different barangays in 𝗗𝗃 Street, the barangay Camagayan, barangay San Antonio, Santa Cruz, 𝗏𝗏 Ramos, Kalubihan, nako'y nalimtan? San Antonio. 𝗏𝗏 Ramos, Santa Cruz, Camagayan, Kalubihan. So the 5 barangays along 𝗗𝗃 Street have really confirmed and reaffirmed their commitment to become part of this Rebranding 𝗗𝗃 Street program and to develop the talents of the youth and children. So I am thankful to the barangay captains and the SK chairs of the different barangays who welcomed us warmly as we went around the different barangays a few days ago. So daghang salamat to the barangay captain and to all the... Okay na niya akong camera? Okay na di? So daghang salamat also to the beautiful speech by our representative from Governor 𝗂𝗶 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃, Attorney Edmund Lau. He is also he's an advocate of history. We would also like you to know that when the Bagong Teatro 𝗗𝗃 had its first staging of the play 𝗵𝗃 Paskilat, that the son of Attorney Edmund Lau, JB, was an important one of the main characters of the play, and I didn't see Attorney Edmund Lau at that time yet. So his son was here, and he played the contrabida, who is the Spanish General Montero. So you would know more. See, Attorney Edmund Lau would know more about the history of Cebu, actually, from JB, his son, who was he was from Vélez College and also with Ateneo de Cebu. So congratulations to Attorney Edmund Lau, kaya he really has offsprings who are following the path of our the heritage advocacy and history advocacy. So right now we have our conversations with our resource person, and our resource person is with us for the first time today. And before that, I would like to recognize those who are with us online today from the DepEd Taguig City and Pateros. Daghang salamat to the teachers and also the supervisor of Araling Panlipunan of DepEd Taguig City and Pateros. We also have someone watching from, I know from University of Makati, but living in Taguig, Sharina Pagao. We also have Shirley Salinas, hashtag Rizal Day. And we have history researcher Marbs Bascon watching us from online. He is a teacher from the Cebu Normal University. We have teacher Dali from SDO Tapat, Marilo Estrada, and 𝗕𝗲𝗪𝗂𝗲𝗏, and also Lanilin. Daghang salamat for joining us this afternoon. So our resource person this afternoon is a former college dean of the College of Teacher Education at the University of Cebu. He is the former chair of the Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education program of UC, and he was also formerly the Quality Assurance Officer of UC and also the Student Affairs Director. He was also the Quality Assurance Officer of Lapu-Lapu Cebu International College, and he has 30 years of extensive teaching experience. He is a passionate educator specializing in history and professional education courses. And he authored a study on the Katipunan Movement of Cebu. So everyone, please help me welcome Dr. 𝗲𝗏𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗪𝗀, PhD.
So, maayong hapon sa tanan. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ma'am Caridad or Agripina?
Agripina.
For inviting me today. It's been a while since na-invite ko to talk about history. I'm actually a history major, BS Ed, Bachelor of Science, Secondary Education, major in history. Okay, so I've been teaching history for more than 30 years, not to be exact. And then I also, I was teaching, or even up to now, professional subjects, in the College of Teacher Education. So it's been a while since I am invited to this kind of event. So I'd like to thank once again Ms. Agripina for inviting me over here. Thank you so much. Now, the basis of my conversation today actually is my study, okay, which was conducted way back 2010, okay, at Cebu Normal University, and it's about the oral and the written history of the Katipunan Movement in Cebu, in the Provincia de Cebu. So thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me.
Yes, daghang salamat to Dr. Delphine for really making this topic as the topic of his study, because actually it's very hard for us as we trace our history. It is our mission, and it is the theme of 𝗵𝗃𝗏, because of course you already know that when we tried to develop the property of this property, we researched about 𝗕𝗏𝗾𝗏 Street, and then we found out that the different streets of Cebu are actually named in honor of Cebu heroes, Katipuneros, or the revolutionaries of 1898. But many of these names are just on street signs, but people don't know anything about them.
Exactly, yeah.
So only a few have made studies about this. So I would like to maybe ask those there at the back to go in front so that there would be more people here. So we would like to ask Dr. Delphine, what motivated you to choose this topic as yours for your dissertation?
Okay, 20 years ago, I was already teaching history, specifically Philippine history. So teaching Philippine history for me, murabag sounds very Manila-centric, because the textbook that we have, in teaching in high school, for example, or even college and Philippine history, these are all written by the, authors in Manila. That's why if you will read textbook or any Philippine history book, seldom that you can find local history, particularly here in Cebu. So it motivated me, why not study about our own local history? So I was thinking, since I am actually a fan of, not really a fan, but I really inspired by Andres Bonifacio, to study about Philippine history. So I was thinking, why not study about the Katipunan in Cebu? Was there a Katipunan movement also in Cebu? And what happened in Cebu when the Philippine Revolution broke out in 1896? What was the participation of the Cebuanos during that time when the revolution broke out? And so this inspired me to, to study about our very own Katipunan movement in Cebu. And I found out that we actually had our own, Katipunan movement in Cebu. So, but then the problem is, the sources, okay? Specifically, the primary sources. Of course, the secondary sources we have from Dr. Mojares, from Dr. Alboro, from 𝗓𝗔𝗦𝗓𝗂𝗓𝗔𝗪. What about the primary sources? So I conducted as well interviews of those descendants of the Katipuneros as far as to Karkar or even to Barili. I even interviewed one time, I was able to interview, tigulang na kayo, mga 90 kapi na gyud siya. And then she was, because that was more than 20 years ago, she was actually also a descendant of the Rihis, brothers, the Rihis brothers who were the leaders of the Katipunan movement in Karkar. So I was able to interview that old woman, and it's inspired me. It took me 5 years to be able to finish my study, because of the interviews I conducted and so on and so forth. So that really motivated me.
So daghang salamat to Dr. Delphine. So we're so happy that you really made, so I was actually asking Dr. Delphine for if we can read his study. Because actually here at PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, we already published about 4 books about Cebu history. So this book, A Short History of Cebu, from 1500s to 1890s and the Anti-Spanish Revolution in Cebu, it is authored by 𝗓𝗔𝗪𝗓𝗂𝗓, and this is published by PAMGRAS, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. And this is the 2021 edition and the 4th edition of this book. So you would really find here the details of what happened in the revolution in Cebu. So, and we also published Leon Quilat, The Untold Story of the 1898 Cebu Revolution, authored by Emil Hostimbaste. And it is out of print, but we are going to reprint it because and also si Leon Quilat ug Sigbin nga gisugilon sa mga Sugbuanong bata. And it is a historical fiction, although it is a magical story made by children about how they view the revolution of 1898. Si Leon Quilat ug Sigbin nga gisugilon sa mga Sugbuanong bata. So this is a very important book actually, because you would really see how 𝗓𝗔𝗪𝗓𝗂𝗓, how the author described the battles in the 1898 Cebu Revolution. So I would also be sharing with you later some of those battles that he mentioned that led to the victory of the revolution in 1898. So now I would like to ask Dr. Delphine Cabanyero regarding, in his study, what was the participation of Cebu when the 1896 Philippine Revolution. So actually, here we say it's 1898, but in Manila, it's 1896. We would like to know what was Cebu's participation when the revolution broke out in Manila.
Okay, there are actually 2 phases of Philippine Revolution. The first one was the 1896 Philippine Revolution headed by Andres Bonifacio, and the second phase was that revolution headed by Emilio Aguinaldo. So talking about the Cebu's participation when the Philippine Revolution broke out in Manila in 1896, Cebu did not immediately engage in open rebellion, though it still contributed to the revolutionary course, the revolutionary cause, but it did not immediately engage into any rebellion. Okay? So I would say that Cebu's participation at that time was mainly preparatory. Okay? Why preparatory? Because the Spanish authorities were still in control of Cebu. Okay, so making any armed uprising at that time was dangerous. So naghulat usa. So the Cebuanos waited for the right time. They waited for that perfect time, okay, when the Spanish authorities or the Spanish power weakened to take up arms. So what they did, the Cebuano patriots slowly spread what? Revolutionary ideas. They recruited members, and eventually they were able to form their own chapter of the Katipunan in Cebu. But it took them, it took them for 2 years. Why? So there was actually no participation yet, of Cebu when the Philippine Revolution broke out in 1896. So, but in time, okay, the Cebuanos were able to form, they were able to establish their own Katipunan, okay, with, of course, Pantaleon Villegas, a.k.a. Leon Kilat, okay, as a key figure. And so this led to the active participation of the Cebuanos in the 1898 revolution, not in the 1896 revolution.
So, daghang salamat, Dr. Delphine. So, actually, we would also know, of course, we know from history that our ancestors, our Visayan and Cebuano ancestors, when we were occupied in 1565, they actually had like a resistance against the colonization, the occupation of our island. So they made, if you have followed our page at Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, we already know that our ancestors made ambushes and they starved the Spaniards. They were so angry, they would ambush the Spaniards and they would burn their camps. So that's why, because they could not eat in Cebu, they had to go to Panay in 1569, and still they could not eat properly, so they went to Manila in 1571. So, but before they went to Manila in 1571, watch out for our Today in Cebu History. Ready na tato. So, Today in Cebu History on January 1, 1571, when Legazpi came back from Panay before he went to Manila. And also, of course, he found out that the Villa de San Miguel, the Spanish settlement that he left in Cebu, was already burned by the natives. So he declared Villa Santissimo Nombre de Jesus. He declared Cebu as the first town of the colony. But, of course, he left about 60 encomenderos before he went to Manila. And those 60 encomenderos died one by one by tropical diseases. And, of course, some would leave, abandon Cebu and went to the neighboring islands. Nabilin mga friars na lang sa San Agustin. So that's San Agustin Church. So and there were so many revolts. So there was a revolt by the Talisaynon against the privatization of the land, and also there was also Juan Diyong uprising and many other revolts, although not recorded much in our history. So that's why in 1890 there was also like a conflict between Marben Bascon is here, so the inquilinos of Talisay, the farmers of Talisay had also a conflict with the friars regarding also the land.
Yeah, because the whole town of Talisay during that time was owned by the Augustinian friars.
Yes. So, and of course, we would know that later those, for example, Gobernador Inocencio Junquera, this street is named in honor of Inocencio Junquera. He worked with personalities who were against the Augustinian friars and who later became leaders of the revolution in Cebu, like Florencio Gonzalez. So kana siya gitayman ako kay taas ko kay story. so actually and of course they were against the ayuntamiento when the Spaniards decided that in the past only the natives would lead the teniente municipal in San Nicolas was a native, si Candido Padilla.
That's actually part of the treaty between Raha Tupas and Miguel Lopez de Legazpi.
Yes. So now my next question is what was the situation in Cebu when the revolution broke out in Manila? So the revolution, the 1896 Philippine Revolution broke out in Manila. So we would like to know from the study of Dr. Delphine. So yes.
When the revolution broke out in Manila in August 1896, Cebu was under tight control of the Spanish authorities, and it remained generally peaceful. So contrary to we have actually two pictures here, whereas in Manila it was a bit chaotic due to the outbreak of the revolution headed by Andres Bonifacio. Here in Cebu, it was generally peaceful. Okay? Why? Because the Spanish authority, was in strict surveillance to Cebu, and so the Cebuanos were just actually waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect time when to do their action. No? And that's why it was only in 1898 revolution that the Cebuanos, participated actively, in the revolution, but not in the 1896 Philippine Revolution in Manila.
Yes. So dahil salamat to Dr. Delphine. So at that time also, we would also know the conflict between Candido Padilla. So Candido Padilla is the clan of the Padillas were actually like the principal family in San Nicolas. And so they had a conflict with the ayuntamiento in Cebu. When the Spaniards, in the 1890s, the Spaniards already decided that the Spanish would have a more visible role in Cebu. In the past, the Indios or the natives, like in San Nicolas, would be the different towns were governed by the natives. Or even the most active during the time in the economy were the Chinese mestizos. There were only a few Spaniards or Spanish mestizos in Cebu City, including my ancestor. So actually, Isidro Gibilondo, it was in his house that the Battle of 𝗲𝗲 was planned. He was a Spanish mestizo lawyer. At that time, mestizos were third-class citizens. They were not first-class citizens because the first were of course, the Peninsulares, then Insulares, those pure Spanish born in the colony, and the mestizos are actually third-class citizens because they are not pure Spanish.
A blend of
so there were Spanish mestizos who joined the revolution, and one of them is our ancestor, the owners of 𝗲𝗏 Cebu, of the ancestors of 𝗲𝗏 Cebu Heritage Hotel, Don Isidro Gibilondo. So at that time also, so there was really a conflict between the natives, the mestizos, against the Spaniards because of the ayuntamiento. When there is now bigger role, there was a bigger role for the Spaniards here in Cebu. So now we would like to know from Dr. Delphine, from his study, who founded the Katipunan in Cebu and how did it begin?
Okay, who founded the Katipunan in Cebu and how did it begin? Okay. The beginnings of Cebu Katipunan remain shrouded in mystery. Okay? The activities of the organizers and the early members took place in utmost secrecy. Okay? Now, even after the war was over, the Philippine Revolution was over, those who participated in that revolution did not leave first-hand accounts. Walay nabilin. And so what happened? Events have to be reconstructed from scarce documents, from first-hand accounts, from oral accounts. Mabitaw sa ako, okay, oral and written history of the Katipunan Movement in Cebu. Muna akong study. Because I found out, okay, walay nabilin nga copious first-hand accounts ang mga nag-participate sa revolution in Cebu, particularly in 1898 Philippine Revolution. Okay? However, once a stimulus was given, okay, the Cebuanos started to, very eager to participate, the revolution. Okay? And that stimulus was given by Anastasio Okrarino. So let me clarify. Upat ka buok ang akong itubag, no? Nga situation, ani nga pangutana, okay? Who founded the Katipunan in Cebu and how did it begin? Okay. Number one, si Anastasio Okrarino. Okay? Anastasio Okrarino provided with the stimulus of the Cebu Katipunan. Now, according to Salis, can I read this one, Ma'am, Miss Agripina?
Yes.
Okay. An early writer, Salis, in 1935, wrote in his book, Ang Sugbo sa Karaang Panahon. And he said, tapos hisulayi ang bugos pagdapig ni Anastasio Okrarino sa pagpasakop sa Katipunan, gihatagan gilayon katungdanan aron magsangyaw sa pulo sa Sugbo sa pagpadaghan sa pagpasakop sa Katipunan. Aron motindog ang mga Sugboanon, ginakmal ang mga hinagiban, batok sa pamunuan sa mga katsila sa kapupudan. After Anastasio Okrarino's genuine commitment to the Katipunan cause was proven, he was right away given the responsibilities of spreading the cause to the island of Cebu to win more members so that Cebuanos would rise up in arms against the Spanish government in the island. Okay, I only have 1 minute left. Anyway, so si Anastasio Okrarino. Anastasio Okrarino actually was appointed by Gil Domingo and Hermogenes Plata. Si Gil Domingo and Hermogenes Plata from Manila, okay, the revolutionaries from Manila, were from the faction of the Bonifacio brothers. So sila maoy nag-appoint ni Okrarino to spearhead the Katipunan movement in Cebu. Okay? But later on, Florencio Gonzales, Florencio Gonzales, a procurador, others are saying he was a lawyer. Okay, but in my study, from Judiciary, for example, no, in his book, procurador, meaning a helper of a lawyer. So Florencio Gonzales, a procurador, okay, met Okrarino here in Cebu, and then when he went to Manila, he also met Gil Domingo and Hermogenes Plata, who appointed him to spearhead the Katipunan in Cebu with Anastasio Okrarino as the courier. Number two, from the other account, that of Gregorio Abellana. Gregorio Abellana was an active participant of the revolution in Cebu. And he said that even before Okrarino came in Cebu, the Cebu chapter of the Katipunan was already organized. And this was organized by the natives of San Nicolas. And that was on June 19, 1897. Okay? So that's the third one. Now, here comes Leon Quilat, Pantaleon Villegas, a.k.a. Leon Quilat, who also arrived here back to Cebu because he'd been to Cebu several times before he went to Manila. When he went back to Cebu, he also showed what? A paper or a letter, okay, from the Katipunero leaders in Manila endorsing his appointment, okay, to spearhead the Katipunan movement in Cebu. That's why I said, you know, the beginnings of the Katipunan movement in Cebu remain shrouded, you know, in mystery. Who really actually started it all?
So daghang salamat, Dr. Delphine. So actually, you would also see that in our in the book, this one from 𝗵𝗔𝗦𝗞𝗢, and also we annotated this because we also had a footnote for this because he did not mention about 𝗵𝗔𝗦𝗞𝗢 quoted. His reference was Felix Sales, ang sugbo sa karaang panahon, and the annotation by 𝗱𝗏 𝗱𝗏 had her dissertation on this, and then on Felix Sales' book on the 1898 revolution or the history of Cebu. And so si Emilio Simbaste in the other book, actually we put the footnote about the version from Abellana, from Gregorio Abellana, that the founding of the Katipunan, the first Katipunan chapter in Cebu was on June 19, 1897 in San Nicolas by the Padilla clan. And of course, June 19 is the birthday of Jose Rizal. He did not mention that, but we would know that June 19 is the birthday of Jose Rizal. So, of course, also the descendants of Leon Quilat would say, the descendants of Leon Quilat showed me, when we interviewed them in Bacong Negros Oriental, they showed me this award or declaration from the province of Negros Oriental, declaring him as a brave son of Negros. Because when Aguinaldo already surrendered, Leon Quilat defied the surrender of Emilio Aguinaldo, and although it is not there, with other Katipunan generals, continued the revolution, even if Emilio Aguinaldo was no longer in the country, or in the archive. He left to Hong Kong. So,
1897, when he left Hong Kong.
yes. So, there is a question, although patamahuman sa akong questions. So there is another question here, although you may answer this. I don't know if you can answer this now. So Ferdy Pagao, Araling Panipunan Supervisor of Taguig City and Pateros, has this question. Do the Cebuano members of the Katipunan sympathetic or associated more to GAT, Andres Bonifacio, or Emilio Aguinaldo?
Yeah. Okay, I would say that the Katipunan movement in Cebu was associated that of Andres Bonifacio. Because Anastasio Clarino, okay, who was appointed by Gil Domingo and Hermogenes Plata, okay, were under the faction of the Bonifacio brothers who defied the peace of 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏. Okay? So he defied, they opposed a truce compromising agreement between the Filipino revolutionaries in Manila, Emilio Aguinaldo himself, and the Spanish authorities. So even after the truce of the so-called 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, by virtue of the Pact of 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, these people like Leon Quilat, as you mentioned, Ms. Agripina, and of course the rest of the Cebuano revolutionaries continued to fight, okay, against the Spaniards here in Cebu. So it was a bit of a move, no, of the Cebuanos defying the order or the policy of Emilio Aguinaldo. That's why I say they must be associated with Andres Bonifacio.
And yes, and there was a ship sailing from Cebu to Tondo every week. And it was the way, the communication between Cebu and Manila, the Manila Katipunan and Cebu was, because Anastasio Clarino was like part of that. And the emissary from Tondo going to Cebu. So, but then we would wonder why, when Leon Quilat came here, he was bringing with him a letter from Emilio Aguinaldo. And Emilio Aguinaldo was no longer in Manila, or maybe he just left in 1897. There were many versions of when Leon Quilat came to Cebu. Was it late December or early 1898?
It's either middle of Feb 1898 or late March of 1898.
Was it a fake letter with because it was actually the letter from Emilio Aguinaldo was the proof of Leon Quilat. He was showing the Cebuanos of course Leon Quilat was already in Cebu before he went to Manila to join the circus or to become a horse racer, because he was a champion horse racer in Cebu. He was recruited when he went to Manila because he was recruited to be a horse racer in Manila. So while he was there, he joined the Katipunan and fought battles in the different parts of Luzon. So when he came back to Cebu, he knew already the Cebuanos, but he was bringing with him a letter from Emilio Aguinaldo, and Emilio Aguinaldo was no longer in Manila at that time. Was it an old letter or was it a fake? Giforged to nila signed Emilio Aguinaldo. We don't know. That needs to be studied. We have already discussed this with Attorney 𝗗𝗲𝗄𝗏 when he was also our resource person, and we could not answer that question. Why is it that Leon Quilat brought with him a letter from Emilio Aguinaldo when Emilio Aguinaldo already surrendered and went to Hong Kong? And it's actually a surrender. So now I would like to share with you this. You have seen this already. You have discussed this. There are battles that happened in Cebu in the 1898 Cebu Revolution. Of course, you know the opening salvo, Battle of 3 de Abril, that happened on Palm Sunday, led by General Pantaleon Villegas. You also know that Leon Quilat was killed, betrayed, and murdered in a Good Friday on April 8, 1898. But even if he was betrayed and murdered, there was a temporary setback. You have seen the performance, the portrayal of the Bagong Teatro Junquera. So even if Leon Quilat was betrayed and murdered on April 8, 1898, the revolutionaries of Cebu regrouped, because there was already a strong organization, because on April 2, 1898, there was a major meeting that happened in the house of Don Isidro Aguivilondo, where they elected the officers and also the leaders of the different towns in Cebu. On May 20, 1898, they regrouped in Sudlon. So you saw that music video that we made in the Sudlon Mountains. And the Cebu Revolution President, General Luis Flores, was the one who led the group. And they now have with them also Arcadio Maxilum. And Sudlon became the headquarters of the revolution, and until their victory on December 24, 18...
Luis Flores as the president.
Yes, Luis Flores is the president, as appointed on April 2, 1898. Okay. And also on May 28, so that's just 8 days after the regroup, there was a battle in Bitlang Hill, the Sudlon Katipuneros or revolutionaries, because one of our resource persons, Dr. Michael Colonane, would tell me in one of our discussions, they were not Katipuneros. The Katipunan leader, Andres Bonifacio, was killed by Emilio Aguinaldo. There was no longer, and there was someone who, there was a comment in our post that said that Emilio Aguinaldo disbanded the Katipunan. But then I told Dr. Michael Colonane, Leon Quilat was initiating them to the Katipunan. So according to Dr. Michael, Leon Quilat was a Katipunero, but the others were not. So they joined the revolution, and they were not members of most were not members of the Katipunan.
Yeah, it was only Leon Quilat who conducted initiation of the members of the Katipunan.
So when he died,
nobody were able to do that except Leon Quilat. So he was really a Katipunero.
Yes. So on May 28, 1898, the Cebu revolutionaries led by Rafael Tabal. So you would know the Tabal brothers were very important leaders of the revolution, because they were the ones who welcomed when the Cebuanos retreated to the hinterlands. the Tabal brothers. Ala, imo na isulti niya, no? But anyway, and so they defeated the Spaniards in the Bitlang Pass, and they just used actually large stones, and they only had 6 rifles, but they were able to defeat the Spanish forces, who could not scale steep land and rock formations, and who had to climb through narrow passes guarded by the Katipuneros. So they also, the Tabal brothers knew the Sudlon terrain like the palm of their hand. So they led the people, those from Sudlon, in rolling down large stones to prevent the attackers from reaching the top of the hill. So this is discussed by 𝗂𝗎𝗓𝒄 and also by 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗎𝗓𝗂𝗏 in the books that we have here at Pamgras. And on June 2, 1898 was the Battle of Budlaan, led by Generals Alejo Mendoza, Revolutionary Generals Alejo Mendoza and Lorenzo Ihi. We have discussed this in the past. It's also in our most today in history post, June 2, 1898. You look for it. And also, they were actually, the Spaniards were actually, the Spanish forces were really surprised because they were led into the middle of the forest by the revolutionaries, the Cebu revolutionaries, and they found themselves in the midst of 200 macheteros in the middle of the forest. And they were crying out, the Spaniards, the Spanish forces were running away from the macheteros. So they were bolo-wielding Cebuanos in the middle of the forest, attacking the Spanish cavalry. Now, of course, they already have to walk. And so they retreated in disarray, crying for help, after being subdued by the bolos of the Cebu revolutionaries, who were very proficient in wielding bladed weapons. And bladed weapons are it's used by our Visayan warriors even in pre-colonial times. So this tradition of using bladed weapons has continued even after 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. There was also a Battle of Bugo on October 19, 1898, although it was like a draw. A 200-man Spanish regiment attacked the Katipuneros in the Battle of Bugo. The revolutionaries, the Cebu revolutionaries, they had 40 rifles led by 𝗵𝗔𝗎𝗄𝗎𝗓𝗏, brother of 𝗵𝗂𝗾𝗔𝗪𝗏. But the loyalists have less casualties, who retreated with 10 casualties and scores, but and scores wounded. And they were equal in number. This was a defeat, but a temporary setback for the Cebu revolutionaries, who won the final victory against the Spanish forces on December 24, 1898. So, more to siya akong mga battles that I would share with you. Now, we would like to ask, by the way, we would like you to know that there are anting-anting, there are anting-anting displayed here at Pamgras, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. These are really anting-anting from the anting-anting makers, although it's now like religious symbols. The anting-anting, tinuod yun siya. from the katong tighimo, ila maning baligya sa kanang tighimo, anting-anting ba. So there are different versions. There are so many versions of this, and these are displayed here at our Sinugatan Gifts from Cebu, although it has no chance yet. So, but you can also have this like a heritage memento. It reminds us that our ancestors became bold. They became brave in fighting against the enemy because of the anting-anting that Leon Quilat brought with him from Manila and showed to the natives, the Cebuanos, how powerful the anting-anting were. So now we would like to ask Dr. Delphine regarding the difference. What is the difference between the Katipunan in Manila and the Katipunan in Cebu?
There were differences between the Katipunan in Manila and the Katipunan in Cebu, mainly because, number one, location, number two, situation. I already have mentioned a while ago the situation in Cebu when the revolution broke out in Manila in 1896, and the location itself, of course, is too far from Manila. Manila was the central area, okay, the center of the revolutionary uprising in 1896. So Cebu was too far from it. So ang gibuhat sa mga Cebuanos, okay, based on the national sentiment spread, no, slowly by these Cebuano educators. You have mentioned, Ms. Agripina, about Cebuano educators. Many of them actually were educated, no, or if not attended schooling in Colegio de San Carlos, and even in University of San Juan de Letran. And many of them also were holding positions in the local government, specifically in San Nicolas. So they were educated. So national sentiments, no, coming from these people, and of course the news of the revolution in Manila spread, you know, in the province of Cebu. Mao ni nakapaikang, nakapamotivate, naka-inspired of the Cebuanos, okay, to start also their own, you know, their own version of the revolution, okay, which culminated in 1898 Philippine Revolution. So what they did first is they just what? They just secretly they recruited members, and then they also organized what they call that? Organized Katipunan chapters, and eventually they were able to establish their own version of the Katipunan here in Cebu, headed by, of course, no other than Leon Quilat or Pantaleon Villegas. So that's a difference. No, the location, Cebu was too far. That's why I said a while ago, when the revolution broke out in Manila in 1896, Cebu was generally peaceful because of the strict surveillance of the Spaniards. Okay, so that's it, no? But in terms of similarities, I would say they shared the same goals. They share the same methods, especially in recruiting members. We call it cell system, triangular system. And they learned it, okay, from Andres Bonifacio. Okay? Even the objectives of the Katipunan set by Andres Bonifacio, okay, these were the same objectives also of the Katipunan here in Cebu. Okay? We have the civic objective, okay? We have the political objective, and we have the moral objective. Ang civic objective is to help care, self-care, and of course to propagate, of course, the revolution within Cebu. When you say civil or political objective, it's about what? It's about armed uprising, no, and to be able to gain our independence from Spain. And when you say moral character, of course, okay, the proper hygiene, self-care, of course, especially those comrades who are, you know, in sickness, okay, during the time. So more or less, they followed the same set of objectives and even the method, no, in recruiting members. So in other words, Cebu Katipunan was too much influenced by, you know, the government system of the Katipunan in Manila, I would say. Probably because of the handbills, okay, brought by Anastasio Oclarino, other propaganda materials brought by Oclarino here in Cebu. So they were inspired, they were motivated, no, to do the same thing here in Cebu.
Yes, daghang salamat to Dr. Delphine. Ipangtugnaw na sila. Tugnaw. So, daghang salamat. So, we would know. So, also, Leon Quilat and the Untold Story of the 1898 Revolution by 𝗍𝗏𝗄𝗎 Simbaste also mentioned that the Katipunan in Cebu, or the revolution in Cebu, operated independently from Manila. Quietly and independently because of their distance. So when of course, when it was cut off from their communication was cut off from Manila after the April 3, 1898, because before that they had actually like communication when there were Cebuanos trained for battle. Like there were a few of them trained in Manila. They went to Luzon to train them in the military strategy and tactics, and also
Because Manila was the center of the revolution, right? So they had the access of the resources and, of course, the weapons. Compared to Cebu, we lacked weapons to start our very own revolution. Yet, no, at that time of 1896. That's why I said we waited for the right time, okay, perfect time, that the Spanish authority in Cebu weakened, okay, and to take up our own uprising against them.
Yeah, so also there is a question here about, was there a widespread revolutionary uprising in other parts of the Visayas aside from that in Cebu? So the study of Dr. Delphine is for Cebu, but maybe he knows something. But in our discussion in the past with historian and and also a commissioner of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, and also former vice president of Silliman University, Dr. 𝗗𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗪. He discussed about the revolutions. I mean, the revolution against Spain launched in the different parts of the Visayas, like in Negros, in Bacolod, in Iloilo, in Panay. So the 5 de Noviembre in Bacolod, and also we discussed that in the past. And Panay actually won first in November. And so the other part, and also Bohol, someone, according to 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃, he mentioned in one of the comments of 𝗵𝗃𝗃, he mentioned 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃 is from Bohol. Dr. 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃 is from Bohol. And he mentioned that a general, Emilio 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Katipunan Revolutionary General Emilio 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was also sent to Bohol to help establish the government, now independent from Spain. So when we won on December 24, they also declared their independence from Spain on December 25, 1898. So it's really like a Pasko sa Kagawasan for the Visayas, and not just for Cebu. So it's really a Visayas victory against the Spanish colonial rule. And according to Dr. 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, in the Treaty of Paris, the Visayas and Mindanao were not included because the Spaniards only wanted to give up Luzon, but did not want to give up Visayas and Mindanao. They wanted to retain the Visayas and Mindanao as their colony, but they could not do it because the Visayans were already launching revolutions and armed uprising, armed revolution against the Spaniards. So they were driven away from the Visayas. So they went to Zamboanga. So when they left Cebu, they went to Zamboanga on December 24, 1898. So actually, there was, according to Dr. 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, there was a conflict between the Visayan revolutionaries against Emilio Aguinaldo. Emilio Aguinaldo has this concept of government, which is the presidential unitary type of government. And the revolutionaries, especially in Panay, who were schooled in Switzerland, in other universities in Europe, had a different idea of the form of government. They wanted a parliamentary federal form of government against the unitary presidential type of government that Emilio Aguinaldo wanted. So they had a conflict, and especially in the Malolos Convention, when the Visayan representative appointed by Emilio Aguinaldo were not actually from the Visayas, but were Tagalogs. So they were so angry. The Visayas were so angry. So you would know more about that. You would know more about that if you review our discussion last year. So anyway, so there is a question. Were there women members of the Cebu Katipunan chapter?
I think just like not really, no. Not unlike in Manila, no. The Cebu, the women's participation in the revolution in Cebu, okay, was more or less, the same. Also with in Manila, they do the cooking, Anya sila mo itigtago sa mga armas, sila mga bana who were also Katipuneros, okay. So they nurse the wounded Katipuneros, things like that. just the same, no? Pareha ko sa what? Sa Katipunan in Manila. Based on my study, based on my study.
Daghang salamat, Dr. Delphine. So, actually, see, if you would say, like, we tried to study the personal life of General 𝗗𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. So, according to the descendant of General 𝗗𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪, General 𝗗𝗗𝗪𝗀𝗪 was a very fierce general. But when it comes to family life, he actually had a commander-in-chief. He had a commanding general.
That's his wife.
Oh, iyang asawa. So, mukurog siya sa iyang asawa. So, I would say that if the wife did not agree to General Maxilom fighting battles and leading the battles, walay revolution in Cebu. So, actually also, there were only like 3 women listed by Dr. Michael Colonel as leaders of the revolution. But there were more women mentioned by 𝗵𝗏𝗄𝗏 Simbaste in the book Leon Kilat. And the untold story, the women who stood the flag, the women who distributed the amulets, and also who made flyers, like si Constancia Alaura, and also si Juliana Revillas, the second wife of Candido Padilla, was one of the active leaders of the revolution. So we made a music video for her. You look for it, Gugmang Gihandom. So there is so we would wonder why this happened. There were only a few women listed as leaders of the revolution in Cebu, when in pre-colonial times, the Visayan women were very powerful in society, and they were really like revered because only they can know the wishes of the deities of the Diwata. They wouldn't do anything without the women telling them that this is, or the women or the gays who were the babaylan and the asog who can communicate with the
I think
deities.
that was changed during the Spanish period.
Yes. So for 300 years of Spanish colonial rule,
Yeah.
the women were already like, they were made to be submissive. They were
Yes.
called witches, and they were
Yes.
called, mala mujer, bad women.
They ought to be at home.
Bad women,
doing the
because
household chores.
the pre-colonial women can express their desire for a man. They wanted pleasure, and then they can tell the dato what to do in everything that the community would do. The women have an insight because they were the only ones who can communicate with the deity. They could not do anything without the blessings, the go signal from the deities. So, and then 333 years after that, only 3 women are listed as leaders of the revolution.
Yes, correct.
So, and then so now, Ferdy is inviting us, the good Dr. Delphine Cabanero and Ma'am Agripina would visit ang Supremo Monument of God Andres Bonifacio at BGC. Thank you very much, Ferdy, for this invitation. We would look at our schedule. So now, the last question for Dr. Delphine is, who were the Katipuneros in Cebu and what were their contributions to the revolution?
There were a lot of them, actually, so I have here the list. Shall I?
Only a few, kay dili
Only
mahuman.
a few, but this actually are taken from Alboro and Quintanar in 1998. Okay, they identified Cebuano revolutionaries whose names are now commemorated in the streets of Cebu City. Okay, of course you have Bonifacio Aranas. We have B. Aranas Street. Bonifacio Aranas, through his courage and leadership, he was promoted to the rank of Brigadier General under Leon Kilat. Okay, and he was born actually to business-minded parents in Aguho, Mambahaw, Misamis Oriental, not from Cebu. Okay, and he studied at the Seminario de San Carlos, where he finished philosophy. Okay, and then he was recruited by the Katipunero Mariano Hernandez. Now, Bonifacio Aranas was the only rebel officer in Cebu who was allowed to use his full uniform, okay, as general at his execution. His body was burned and buried without the last blessing. Of course, we also have Teofisto Cavan, we have Don Saturnino Echavez, we have Echavez Street, right? We have, of course, Luis Flores. I have mentioned already his name. Januario Gabrielio of Basak San Nicolas. Florencio Gonzalez, of course, okay? And then we have Mariano Hernandez. Who else? We have Francisco Llamas. We have F. Llamas Street. We have General Enrique Loriga, right? So we have Loriga. Then Don Felipe Pacanya from Labangon, Cebu. We have Don Solomon Manalili. Of course, the very popular 𝗗𝗲𝗀𝗪𝗓𝗍𝗀, General 𝗗𝗗𝗀𝗪𝗍𝗀, Alijo Menusa, Candido Padilla, that's why you have C. Padilla, and his brother, a priest of cathedral, the parish priest of cathedral, you have T. Padilla, Father Toribio Padilla. We also have Don Gavino Sepulveda, and of course, the popular of them all, the jack of all trades, Pantaleon Villegas, aka Leon Kilat. Okay? So each of them naani sila'y responsibilities, naani sila'y accomplishment, as a Katipunero.
So, dahil salamat, Dr. Delphine. So, you would also see their names at our wall of heroes at our Galeria Independencia. And those are the leaders of the revolution in Cebu. And most of them are publicized. Si Dr. Michael Colonane has this book, Arenas of Conspiracy and Rebellion, in the early 19th century Philippines, but in the late 19th century Philippines. But he only listed down those who were mentioned 3 times in publications. Okay. So, but we included in our wall of heroes even those names that are not mentioned 3 times, but was mentioned in the book by 𝗚𝗎𝗓 Timbasti in the book Leon Kilat, The Untold Story of the 1898 Cebu Revolution. So you would also see their names at the website of 𝗵𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, Our Story and Our Cebu Heroes at the website of 𝗵𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. And also you would see in the website of 𝗵𝗃𝗃 the names of the floors of the heroes of 𝗵𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, and also the suite rooms named in honor of heroes.
After them?
Yes, and then it's in the website, and you would see the floors and the suite rooms have a description of the hero to whom that floor or
nice.
Named after. So also at the wallpaper of the room, you would see the description that we got from the book of Dr. Michael Colonane. And when he came here, he said, this hotel is a monument. and we told him, actually, we got the description of the heroes from your bio sketch of the heroes, but we shortened them. And he said, yes, because I write lengthily. So, and we also had a Cebuano version of the description of the hero. So now, as we now entertain, if there is a question, we would like to entertain. But before that, we would like you to know that leading to the victory of the revolution in 1898, in December 1898, the Cebu revolutionaries established the Junta Popular in the different towns in Cebu. So there was the Junta Popular, or it is the town council, which is the revolutionary town council alternative to the town council of the Spaniards. So there were Junta Popular established in Mabolo, Talamban, in Mandaue, Consolacion, Upon, Cordova, Balamban, Asturias, Tuburan, and Toledo. And on December 16, 1898, the Cebu revolutionaries already occupied El Pardo. So Pardo was not part of Cebu City yet at that time.
Yeah.
And it's also separate from San Nicolas. Yeah. So, but there was a time that San Nicolas, the territory of San Nicolas, went as far as Santander. So it was the most lively, most populated town. There was a time in the history of Cebu. On December 20, 1898, General 𝗗𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗪𝗓𝗂𝗋 was appointed by the revolutionary president Luis Flores to be the gobernador interino of the Cebu province while the Spanish government was still in Cebu City. And after his election as the General-in-Chief of the Cebu Army, 𝗲𝗂𝗋𝗋 sent a formal communication to the Spanish authorities informing them of the installation of the revolutionary government of El Pardo. And he demanded that the Spaniards would peacefully surrender or blood would be shed, or there would be bloodshed. So the Spaniards hastily said that they are now leaving Cebu and they be given time to leave. And it was on Christmas Eve of 1898 that they finally left Cebu. And they actually were the ones who lowered their flag, the Spanish flag, from Fort San Pedro, and they themselves tore their ilang gigisi ang ilang own flag before they left Cebu. So that's those are some of the facts leading to the 1898 Cebu Revolution victory. So, is there a question here, or is there an interaction from the audience? Would you like to say anything or ask or comment? Wala na? Wala na? Okay na to? So, wala na question? Wala na question from online also. So before we end the conversations, I would like to get the closing words from our resource person, Dr. Delphine
So
Caballero.
in closing, the Katipunan movement in Cebu reminds us of, number one, the courage of the Cebuanos. Number two, unity. Number three, unwavering love for freedom shown by our ancestors. So their sacrifices, from organizing secret chapters to leading uprising against colonial rule in 1898, laid the foundation for the liberty that we enjoy today. So may the legacy of our Katipuneros, our very own Katipuneros, continue to guide and inspire us in building a stronger, freer, and more united Cebu and Philippines. Thank you very much.
Daghang salamat. A round of applause for our resource person. Daghang salamat, and we're so happy to have with us this afternoon Dr. Delphine Caballero to discuss his study about the Katipunan movement in Cebu. So daghang salamat. Malipayong Pasko sa Kagawasan, and I would turn you over once again to our moderator this afternoon, 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗏𝗀.
Yes, thank you very much, daghang salamat once again, of course, our heritage advocate, that's none other than Ms. 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 And of course, our resource person this afternoon, that is none other than our college history faculty and history book author, Mr. Delphine Caballero, Dr. Delphine Caballero. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. Dr. Delphine, thank you so much for gracing us with your knowledge and about the history, and so much for us to learn about the past of the Sugbuanons. Mao din na siya nga naay mga Tipadilla, Sipadilla, Leon Kilat Street, mga Katipuneros din na siya nato, no? Mga kasi tawagan na mga inila nga mga tawo, sa Cebu, sa Sugbu, kaniadtong panahon na when we were colonized by the Spaniards. So these are the people who actually fought for our homeland, no, para ma-regain na tong atuang freedom. So once again, daghang salamat Ma'am 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 And now, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have different Cebu Hero stickers that are available in our Sinugatan Center, only here at Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. And of course, Miss Agripina is here as well to show you our different hero stickers. First, we have the Leon Kilat hero sticker. That's a leader of the 1898 Battle of Tres de Abril. We also have Luis Flores, the first Cebuano president of liberated Cebu. We also have a hero sticker of Arcadio Maxilum, General Maxilum, leader of the second phase of the 1898 Cebu Revolution. We also have Candido Padilla, diba? Si Padilla. early recruit and chief of the Cebu Katipunan prior to 𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀's arrival. We also have a hero sticker of the mythical Sigbin, a mythical Cebuano creature that was said to be the pet of 𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, that has the mystical powers. Is that correct, Miss A? Yes, so if you want to have those stickers, basin magka-mystical powers mo. Just like 𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. We also have Juliana Revelias, a propertied mestiza, who was an active planner of the Cebu Revolution. So it is just now that I learned that mestizo and mestiza, Ma'am A, are actually mga half-blooded na sila, na mix-mix din na sila. That's why they're called mestiza and mestizo. We also have Alejo Mendoza, Cebu Revolutionary General who won successful battles. We also have Florencio Gonzalez, one of the first martyrs of the Cebu Revolution. And we also have a sticker of 𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗔𝗪𝗀𝗃 led an ambush against Spanish forces on April 1898. And we also have Constancia Alaura, one of the women leaders of the Cebu Revolution recruited by 𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Wow, big round of applause to our Cebuano heroes, and especially, including the Sigbin. And now at this point in time, since we have viewers in our online, in our 𝗲𝗃𝗃 Cebu Heritage Hotel Facebook page, we actually have a trivia question for all of you. So if you guys are here and you want to win the prize is 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. I will be asking the question, and the first one to comment the correct answer gets to win the prize of 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, only here at 𝗲𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So here is the question. What was the venue of the December 29 Cebu Revolution Victory Celebration 127 years ago? Oh my gosh. So once again, this is the question. What was the venue of the December 29 Cebu Revolution Victory Celebration 127 years ago? Comment down below in the comment sections your answers if you want to win 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, only here at 𝗲𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Yes, and our representatives here, and of course, Ms. Agripina is going to look for the correct answer. So the first commenter of the correct answer wins 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Yes, online and now on site. Who would like to give a bet? A guess? What was the venue? Yeah, of the December 29 Cebu Revolution Victory Celebration 127 years ago. That's 127 years ago. Basta may mo nung 𝗲𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, haaw. Hello, what's your name?
Joseph.
Joseph. Hi, Joseph. What's your answer? Unsa ang venue 127 years ago pag December 29 Cebu Revolution Victory Celebration?
In Cathedral.
In Cathedral. Is that correct? Correct! Congratulations, Joseph! Ha? Asa nga Cathedral daw? Hala, asa nga Cathedral?
Paris ata sa may kalimut ko sa address.
Huwag na hinuon. Unsa nga Cathedral? Nadila yung Cathedral sa Cebu?
Cebu Cathedral.
Yes! Sakto na sa Cathedral. Gato kung may siya Manila Cathedral. Paet. Larga sila dito. Congratulations, Joseph. You just won a 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and you can claim that here. Kinsa asa nila ma-claim, no? Basta claim na lang, oy. Pang-UR siya dito na nakadaog ko ha sa kuan kaya ako siya naka-answer asa gi-celebrate ang victory party. So mabuhay ang mga Katipunan, no? So they celebrated in the Cebu Cathedral, for freeing the Cebu from the Spaniards. All right, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we are through. Happy na tamahuman. The upcoming events of 𝗲𝗃𝗃, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Once again, we are going to have Tagbo 2026. That's going to be this coming December 31. That's 2 days from now that we will be having our New Year 2026 countdown. The activities are going to be a live music, and there is going to be a New Year's Eve dinner buffet here at Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Next to that, in January, we'll be having the Sinulog 2026 activities. Is a cultural dance. And then, of course, we are going to have our Valentine's Day, and activities are also to be posted, to be determined. So we have a lot of surprises ahead from Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Of course, we would like to thank our panelists. Of course, once again, that is Ms. Agripina Guvalondo, and of course, Dr. Delphine Cabanera, and our guests and partners. We have 𝗃𝗏𝗃 Foundation Incorporated, the Andy Heritage Center, Central Visayas Association of Museums. Yes, and of course, our viewers from all around the world, and of course, all around the Philippines, thank you so much once again. Maayong Pasko sa Kagawasan. And thank you so much, Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. This is Neil officially signing off. Congratulations, everyone.
Pasko sa Kagawasan nga i-show karon. Di. Mag-dinner.
Sa pagliwaliw ka
Ikaw